Our original plan was to go from Saguaro National Park in Tucson to the Petrified Forest National Park. However, the day we were going to leave, the forecast was only 8 degrees in the Petrified Forest. So we changed our plans and we're just now getting back to it. The park is kind of long and skinny, and Interstate 40 goes right through it.
This is I-40 where it cuts across the park.
In this part of the U.S., I-40 follows the historic Route 66.
The old Route 66. What'd they say it was? A 32 Studebaker, I think.
This is the visitor center at the north entrance of the park. Here is the Painted Desert Inn. The original building was made out of petrified logs before they had rules against doing that.
From 1934 until 1941, the Civilian Conservation Corps did a lot of work in the park, including remodeling this building and making it into more of like an adobe building. They also built the road and the bridges and the trails and the Rainbow Forest Museum at the south end of the park.
From its patio, there are beautiful views of the Painted Desert. Here you can see petroglyphs on newspaper rock. They were done approximately 1,000 years ago by the native people. This is the Blue Mesa, which we thought was one of the nicer parts of the park. This is the Jasper Forest, which has a high concentration of petrified wood.
See those rocks back there, Karen?
Yeah?
They're really scared.
How do you know?
Because they're petrified. Hey, we're out hiking, going to Martha's Butte.
Butte, Mike.
Oh.
Butte.
It's a beautiful butte. It says it's off the beaten track, but it doesn't look like it's like a pretty beaten track to me, but.
So it's got two big rocks on the top with a split down the middle where they say the summer sun shines through it onto petroglyphs.
Solstice or something?
Yeah.
That's how they mark the solstice. Karen's marveling at Martha's Butte. More petroglyphs. Big chunk of petrified wood.
It still feels like wood though.
Does it?
These are on the Giant Logs Trail, located near the visitor center at the south end of the park. The Devil's Playground is in the wilderness area in the north end of the park.
Wonder if they found any gold in there, Karen.
Silver and copper, and what do you think they were digging for?
If you've been watching our videos, you probably wonder, well, how do they find all those really cool trails? Well, the secret is www.alltrails.com. When I searched for trails in the Petrified Forest National Park, it only found 6 of them, and you can see most of them are pretty easy. So we invented our own trail. I submitted it to whoever runs the All Trails thing, and now it's a pending trail. Maybe someday it'll become a famous trail.
The first thing we liked about the park is it's easy to get there. It's right off of Interstate 40.
Second thing we liked is that they really embraced their Route 66 heritage. That's such a big part of why it became a tourist area to begin with, and it's being exploited, and so then they made it into a national park, and they just kind of embrace that whole history. The third thing we like about the park is it has an authentic greatest kind of a thing. Seems like all the national parks are either the driest or the wettest or the this or the that, and while this one does have a legitimate, authentic greatest, it has the highest concentration of petrified wood anywhere in the world. The thing we didn't like about the park is it seems like it's prone to overlook hopping. There's a 28-mile road that goes from the north end to the south end, and there's overlooks spaced out every so often, and you kind of start seeing the same people at every overlook because you're on the same schedule, and you snap a couple pictures and go on to the next one. Our tip for visiting the park is that we found the Rainbow Forest Museum at the south end of the park to be a lot more informative and interesting than the Painted Desert Visitor Center at the north end of the park. Also, there's a lot more petrified wood at the south end of the park. There's not a whole lot of that to see at the north end of the park. It's mostly just painted desert. So to summarize, we agree with what National Geographic says in their guide. They say, of all the national parks, Petrified Forest ranks among the most susceptible to the drive-through visit. We spent one day on the 28-mile road going to all the overlooks, and another day on a wilderness hike. We kind of feel like we saw pretty much all the park. Nevertheless, we are very thankful we got to go to the Petrified Forest National Park.